All right, folks. So today I want to do, I guess, a request video. Someone left a comment saying, sometimes I wonder why I'm here when it feels like everything's against me from getting my life together. Could it be possible you do a video about getting out of a rut in life? See, now, what's interesting about that is this idea of like, sometimes I wonder why I'm even here. So I'll break this question down in two parts. The first part is very existential, I guess. When people say they're having an existential crisis. Well, the idea is, if you have an awareness, at one point, if you find a moment of silence, because a lot of times we live very busy lives and we don't really have time to ponder things. There's this idea that what happened to us is back when we were just trying to survive, you're hunting, hunter-gatherer kind of stuff, right? We didn't have time to sit around and ponder as much. But then when we developed agriculture and we were able to grow our own food, we had more time to sit and relax. And that's when we started really pondering different concepts and different ideas. And maybe that's when people really started to contemplate things like, why am I here? What is my purpose, right? Now, when you think about that, there's a few options there. One, you could either convince yourself of some special reason why you're here. I'm here to help humanity. I'm here to save the dolphins. I'm here to, you can just really just make up a reason why you feel like you're here. And if you feel inside that really resonates with you, then just go do it and you're fine, right? But for a lot of people, when they ponder this idea of why am I here, they might get to a realization that, wait a second, fundamentally there's just existence and it just exists with no cause, no reason. It just is. So then if that's the case, how could there really be any particular reason for me being here? And that really freaks them out because they realize, oh my God, there's no meaning to any of this. I mean, you can create some sort of meaning or manufacture some meaning in anything, but fundamentally you realize, wow, there is no meaning in any of this, right? So I guess I'll deal with that. Because if you've already like thought of something that you feel like I'm here to do this, and you're already fine. Go then you're done. Go for it. Enjoy yourself. But if you're struggling with this idea of like, why am I even here? How do I get out of this rut? Well, oddly enough, there's a great pleasure in realizing that everything's ultimately meaningless, right? The biggest freedom you can have in existence is a meaningless existence, right? Because the second if there was any sort of meaning in existence, then you would have no freedom ultimately. Because that means someone is deciding somewhere for you to go. I was going to say trajectory, but it was hard to get out of my mouth. Do you know what I mean? So it's this idea of, if there was actual meaning in existence, somebody would have to dictate that meaning, whether it's the universe, whether it's a all-powerful God, whether it's some sort of collective consciousness. So the idea that there is fundamentally no meaning, it just is. You just exist. Existence just is. That gives you the ultimate freedom, right? Because no one's going to be like, hey, what are you doing? That's not the meaning of this, so stop it. And then they push you towards a different path, right? So basically, the fact that there's no ultimate meaning in any part of it gives you ultimate freedom to just make up your own meaning. Now, that's where the whole irony of this plays out, because fundamentally, if you kind of relate to that, because like I said, if you feel like I'm here to grow Christmas trees and sell them at Christmas, that's the best example I could give. Any reason, because if you've thought in your head of some reason, I'm here to race cars, it feels great because you don't really have to think about it anymore. You've already convinced yourself of some meaning for yourself and you're good to go. But for somebody who thinks about this a lot, it could be really difficult to manufacture some sort of meaning, you know? Because so you're saying, what am I supposed to do, Tony? Just invent some meaning so I can feel like I'm doing something? You kind of have to. Yeah, that's the whole game. You know? That's basically the whole game. If you realize that fundamentally there can't be any ultimate meaning to any of it, you have to kind of just manufacture your own meaning. Right? And now let's say that thought is a little overwhelming to sit there and manufacture your own meaning. Not only overwhelming, but you might just think to yourself, well, Jesus, that's really ridiculous that I have to just sort of invent some sort of meaning, significance so to get me going. You kind of have to, because if you feel like everything is ultimately meaningless, sometimes it might not really get you to do much of anything, because you're like, what's the point? What's really my motivation to do this? Right? So, you know, that's why when people have kids, it gives them the ultimate meaning in life, because it's not about you anymore. Your job is to make sure your kids are okay. It gives you the ultimate meaning, you know? But other than having kids, I guess, like I said, you can manufacture some other meaning. My meaning is to be the best pastry baker yet. Yeah, you want to bake the best croissants. Then that's your meaning. There you go, bake, you know, go crazy, bake the best croissants you can. These examples are really not good, but it doesn't matter. The example doesn't matter. The point is, you've thought of something to do. But if you don't want to play that game and you don't want to create some sort of like artificial meaning just to make yourself feel good so you can get going, you can just rewind and go back to the innocence of your childhood. Now, maybe your childhood wasn't innocent. Maybe it was tragic. Maybe you had a lot of trauma, but doesn't matter either. The idea is, maybe your childhood wasn't so innocent, it was traumatic. But what I'm getting at is this idea of like when we're kids, whether we have a very happy, innocent childhood, or maybe we had a very hard childhood. The idea is when you're a kid, you do things for the innocence of doing them, right? As adults, a lot of the times we get in these ruts because we're trying to manufacture something. You know, it's kind of like, oh, it's like I'm in this rut. Now, what's happening there is you simply lack any childlike motivation and excitement to do something. Because, you know, it's that saying, if you talk, you know, when someone's always talking about doing something, you probably won't do it. If I tell you, you know what, I really want to go to Hawaii. It'd be fun to like visit Hawaii, you know, like it'd be so cool. I'm probably never going to go to Hawaii, because somebody who actually wants to do something will just do it. They don't talk about doing it. Do you know what I mean? It's like somebody who talks about opening up a YouTube channel. You know, I should open up a YouTube channel. They probably won't, you know, because the idea, like, for example, when I opened up this YouTube channel, I didn't think about it. I was just like, this is what I'm going to do right now. And that's just the way, look back at your life, at all the things you've done. It's not something you talked about for like forever. You just did it. That's what it's like to be a kid. When you're a kid, you're compelled to do something. You just do it. I'm going to give you a weird example. When I was a kid, I would always be compelled to climb anything I could. Whether it was a tree, whether it was a building, whether it was a garage, whatever it was, I was just compelled. But it's not like I told people, let's say I was with my friends somewhere. It's not like I told my friends, hey guys, you know what? I should climb this tree one day. One day I should just really climb this tree all the way to the top. What do you think, guys? No, I didn't say that. I would just be there and I would just start climbing the tree. Because that's what happens when you're a kid. You're compelled to do something and you just do it. Now, here's what's crazy about that. I was compelled to climb things, but I had no idea how to climb back down. So what I would do is I would climb somewhere really high, and then I would be screwed because I'd have no way getting down. I was too little and I just didn't know how to come back down. So I would just be screwed. A lot of the times, like I would just wouldn't be able to get down. Somebody like they would just have to like just there were just different random ways I ended up coming down, whether somebody helped me, but I was always stuck a lot of the time. So you wonder, Tony, if you climbed things and you didn't know how to come back down and you'd be stuck and somebody had to help you down, why did you keep doing it? Because there was no thought. I was just compelled to do it. That's what happens when you're genuinely compelled to do something. It's like a childlike urge. You just do it. It's like talking about playing guitar. I play guitar since I was like 14. I never talked about like, I should just maybe play guitar. I just started playing guitar. Like it wasn't a thought in my mind. And that's the way it is with stuff that you really want to do. You just simply do it. There's really no thought involved in it. But as adults, a lot of the times, that childlike excitement of stuff dies. Why does it die? Well, you see, when you're a kid and you do something, you do it just for the innocence of doing it. But the second you turn 18 and you're an adult, somebody tells you, well, stop with that. That was cute and everything, but now you have to pick one thing that you can do, and that's what you do from now on. That's what you do. 9 to 5, you wake up and you do that one thing. We're not living in a fantasy world anymore. You're not going to explore your childlike curiosities. Find something to do, grow up, and just do it. So a lot of the times that kills our spirit, our soul, our wonderment of the world. We start day by day, we lose that connection with curiosity, with excitement, with innocence. And it's that childlike wonderment and innocence that makes you just climb up a tree that you know you can't climb down, but you just do it anyways. And as an adult, we often just, that part of us dies. And then we spend most of our adult life trying to see if we could ever get that back. Not only do we try to see if we can get that back, but a lot of times we're confused. Why am I in this rut? It's because there's nothing you're genuinely motivated to do. A lot of times people call that laziness. Oh, you're just lazy. I don't believe in the idea of laziness. I believe if somebody is genuinely motivated in their soul, in their being to do something, you just do it. You know? It's kind of like saying, oh, that person's too lazy to climb that tree. It's not about laziness. I climbed that tree to the top just because there was just something inside of me that compelled me to want to climb that tree. That's all it is. It's not about laziness. When we are genuinely inspired to do something, we do it without thought. It's like almost like it's almost like an out-of-body experience. And when you don't have that genuine motivation to do something, it's hard to just force yourself to do something because of your logic. Like if you just think about it, you think, well, logically what I should do right now is I should get out of bed and then do this and do that. But that's not how we work at our core. Because when we're kids, we don't do stuff by logic. We just do stuff that we're genuinely excited to do. But as adults, we're supposed to just shut that off and just use logic. Right? It's almost like we have the first 18 years of our lives, people are like, oh yeah, be creative, be spontaneous, just be genuinely excited to do whatever you want. And then the second you become an adult, people are like, well, that's not cute anymore. Now you're supposed to grow up, be practical, choose something to do 9 to 5 and do it. And that's it. Stop with this childlike silliness. So, of course, that side of us dies, and then we're left in a rut because we start losing our connection with things that genuinely made us excited. So when I see someone saying they're in a rut or they don't want to get off the couch, it's not because they're lazy or they're dumb. It's just simply because they lost that connection with something that genuinely excites you. I 100% guarantee you, anybody who has a genuine excitement. I remember when I was a kid, and there was something in that moment that I was excited to do. Like you feel a tingling in your whole body. It's almost like you have this surge of electricity that goes through your whole body and you just do it. You can still have that as an adult. That always exists. That feeling will exist till the day you die, as long as you don't lose that and shut it off. I know that society tells you to shut it off, to grow up, to mature, to be practical. But if you're ever wondering why you're in a rut, it's because you need to get in touch with that side of you again. Because when you get in touch with that side of you, the second you find something that genuinely motivates you, you just do it without thought. There's no thinking, maybe I'll do it tomorrow. You just do it without thought. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. You know, I used to teach guitar back in the day, you know, and I would have students sometimes, and I can tell right away which students were going to keep playing guitar and which students wouldn't. Because, like, if I have to tell you to practice, just you're most likely it's not for you. It's just not for you. The idea is when you have a guitar, you're just compelled to keep playing it. No one has to tell you to practice. That's why it never works with kids. When someone forces their kid to take piano lessons and the kid's like, "Mom, Dad, stop it." It's got to be something you're genuinely excited, because someone who's excited about playing guitar, it doesn't feel like practice. They just do it because it's something they're compelled to do. They want to really learn a song, or maybe they're just learning how to write their own music, and it just excites them so much that they're just compelled to constantly play. That's genuine excitement. It's not sitting there logically thinking, well, you know, technically if I want to get better at guitar, I should put in an hour a day and practice this. No, it's not something you just do it. You just do it because you're compelled to do it. That's genuine. And you always have that at your disposal for your whole life, as long as you don't lose touch with that. So anytime when I see someone calling someone lazy or whatever, I never, "Oh, you're lazy, you're this." I just look at it as like, that's someone who's not genuinely motivated with something right now, because they just need to find something that excites them. Because when you find something that excites you, you just do it. You just simply do it. You're compelled to do it. It's something, like I said, it's almost like an out-of-body experience. You do it without thought, and that's it. So that's all you have to do. Just find that. And I know it's harder. It gets harder as an adult because people tell you to don't do that because it's not practical. But that's really where all the great things come from. Genuine inspiration, genuine enjoyment of something, that childlike way that we did it. You know, when we're a kid and we're 10 and you want to do something, nobody said, "Wow, you're really good at that. That should be your job, 9 to 5. You like doing something, like, you know what I mean? And you just do it." That's the thing, you know, when you're a kid, you just wake up and whatever excites you, that's what you want to do that day. And we lose that completely as adults because it's just not sexy anymore as an adult. You're supposed to grow up. You're supposed to be practical. But that's what gets you out of a rut. Genuine excitement. There's nothing in this world that will motivate you to do something more than genuine excitement for something. Because when you're excited for something, it's not a chore anymore. You just do it without thought. Like I said, practicing guitar, doing anything. And I think that's where that being in a rut comes from. It's just losing touch with that childlike excitement of doing things. And as long as you keep looking for that, being open to it, that's all you can do. So let's say you're in a rut right now, and I tell you about this childlike excitement to find in you. And you might think about that, and you might not find it for a day. Maybe you won't find it for a year. Maybe you'll be in a rut for 5 years. Maybe you'll be in a rut for the rest of your life. It doesn't matter. So you think, Tony, what do you mean it doesn't matter? Then I failed. No. It's the pursuit. That's all that matters. It's the attempt. As long as you're trying and you're open to the idea of finding some genuine inspiration in life, that's all you can do. The results are completely insignificant. That's what I try to do. I have nothing figured out. You know? I'm just a silly guy on YouTube with 100 subscribers. I have nothing figured out, but it's the attempt. I'm always looking to find some genuine joy and excitement in something like that we had when we were kids, something that just compels me to do something for the love of it. And you might find that or you might not. It doesn't matter. You might be in a rut for the rest of your life. That's completely insignificant. The only important thing is the pursuit, the noble pursuit of finding genuine love and excitement in your life. That's all this game's about. That's all you can do. So I would say if you're in a rut, it's the genuine pursuit of finding that genuine inspiration in life that matters. Forget the results because they're insignificant. As long as you keep yourself open to that potential and that pursuit, that's all you can do. And that's all I can do. That's all I try to do. Whatever happens after that happens, and that's all you can really do. And I'll leave it at that. So that was my take on getting out of a rut. So I hope you're all doing well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.